Hello everybody, Elijah here. Welcome you all to another Epic 7 video. Today is my little Death Dealer Ray showcase. He is one of my favorite ML5s in the game currently, and now he is actually usable in comparison to how he was before his buffs. He's very flexible now, he has a lot more, I would say, utility, and he's just an all-around really good unit. Like he's like very flexible, and that's what makes him so good is because you can use him in just about any kind of draft, and it just works out, right? He's a really fun unit. Here's his build. You can make him tankier, you can make him faster, and you can either boost his effectiveness or lower it a little bit to get whatever stats you want to get. I would not recommend making him slower than this unless you are going to build him with a bunch of like effect resistance or something along those lines if you're going to make him slower. But for the most part, I think like 235 speed is pretty like right on the noggin. 230, 240 if you can get there with the gear. But if I was to give the 240 speed with like these same kind of like stat lines, I would have to take some gear away from some other units, and I didn't want to have to do that. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the showcase. So this was my first match, I think, of my testing. I've been playing him, or spam picking him, I should say, over the course of like, what, 3 days? 4 days, something like that. Just trying to get an idea on how to use this unit properly and how to draft him. So in this first match, it's not really the most optimal draft because I didn't support him well enough. Because for DDR, I think you want to either draft him with really strong OP openers if you're going to go a more aggressive route, or you draft him with supporters that are just really tanky or just like can provide sustain so that he can survive, or at least move the focus off of him, right? So like for example, like Karina is a unit that you can like pair in like a slower draft because people are going to want to focus the Karina, because if they focus the DDR, then they push up the Karina and then she like kills the entire team. Like that kind of like draft where you either make it so that they can't really focus him, or you use a bunch of openers so that you get the first turn and he can get his skills off. Whatever you do, you are essentially drafting him to just make sure he gets his skills off, because if he gets his skills off, then that's it. He's done. He did his job, right? Instead of him having to survive to gain like 5 focus or whatever to then use his S3, you are now like banking on him to essentially just get his skills off, and then he's just like a sit now he's done everything he needs to do. And because is one of those units that you don't have to immediately use his S3, you can just S2 in the beginning and wait to S3, because it might be more optimal to hold it, things like that. So don't just like default turn off your brain like I did in this match and use your S3, and we'll obviously look and discuss that over. I ended up picking Solitary here last, which I don't really need to, but I was still in that mindset of thinking that I needed to pick Solitaria with DDR because like this draft looks like what I would draft prior to his buffs. Like I would pick DDR prior to his buffs like this, with a team like this, where I would pick him and then Solitaria in the end, right? So yeah, he's just one of those units where you don't have to rely on Solitaria anymore. You can just use everybody else. For some reason, though, they don't ban Lua, which I thought was interesting. I think if they banned Lua, they probably would have a higher chance at winning. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to deal with having that first turn, like you losing it, because Lua single-handedly, well, not like single-handedly, but for the large majority of it, like she carries the match as she normally does, right? Lua is just OP. Turn resets to Destina, so she can't do anything, and then, you know what I mean? Basically, and then giving everybody a speed buff. Here's one of those moments where I should have held his S3 on Death Dealer Ray, because as you're going to see, right, I missleep on literally everybody, essentially, right? And I go for the S3 on LRK, and then the Rimuru ends up going for the Analyze and Assess. I think that's what his S2 is. I guess we'll see. Yeah, I think that's what it says. And now they all have immunity and speed buff. Which they wouldn't have had, or I would have been able to remove that, ideally, later on. So it kind of sucks. Like, I should have definitely held it. And this Yufine was like a sitting duck, but I'm pretty sure she's on Holy Sack, and that's why she's also a sitting duck at the moment. And yeah, they do all their stuff. They start to use they start S1ing because that's all they can do is S1 here, right? They take, and by the way, Lua DDR, very, very strong when you are thinking in the sense of the amount of injury and health that they're just going to lose just from debuffs alone, like without doing any damage, right? Like it's a lot, you know? And then LRK with his like Venom proccing, things like that. He did an AoE attack and the Venom all proc. Like they have lost a lot of HP and we haven't really, like Spectre didn't do it that. That was literally just from debuffs. And then I guess LRK's S3, but like most of it was literally just debuffs, which is really crazy to think about them losing that much HP just from like debuffs alone. Anyway, we go ahead, and I was like afraid to hit the Destina because, well, I go for it anyway here. But I think originally I was scared too because of Guardian Ice Crystal. I didn't know it was going to proc again. But yeah, I miss crit on that. I forgot what his name is. ML Ron? Yeah, that one, that one. I know it's K-Ron, but like, what is his ML's name? Does anybody know? Like, does anybody use the unit? No, nobody uses the unit, right? Now, here I got scared, because if you're looking at the CR bar and things, I am like, not last order crowd. MLK Ron, gosh, I don't even, what is his name? What is his ML's name? I don't know. Anyway, I was scared he was going to cut in front, but luckily that speed buff from Lua comes in clutch, and I'm able to lap the K-Ron and go for an S3, which wipes his entire team. And yes, that Yufine was on Holy Sack, but it doesn't really matter. The match is over. Even if she counterattacked, she's not going to do enough damage to kill, and she got slept anyway, so yeah. GG. And here we are later, like this is probably like the 30th, maybe 40th match. Way later on where I'm like, okay, I understand how to draft DDR. Alright, I'm banning Navy Captain Landing because I do not like that unit, and I ban Bunny Dom because even though like you can overwhelm Bunny Dom with just a ton of strips and things like that, she is still one of those units that is very annoying for DDR to go up against. Because if you're not using other extra turn units and like speed tune correctly, she can just be an annoyance, and I just don't want to deal with it. So I ban her. Like I literally, these are the two units I ban, and that's all you have to ban, right? Just these two units. They pick Lua first pick. Yikes, scary. I know. I really never know what to do. Well, now I do know what to do. Until Lua first picks, we still slap in DDR here because we're just like I'm getting the showcase. Like I don't care. We are showcasing DDR, and my A Tywin is built to deal with Lua. I have him on the buffed. What is the Night Artifact? It is the buffed version of. Oh my gosh, what is it called? I am thinking Bastion, where it gives immunity and a barrier to both the caster and the ally in the back row. It's kind of how I deal with Luas, because I don't think they expect it, and they're forced to have to sleep. Either, like, they can't sleep A Tywin, so now they have to deal with the fact that A Tywin is going to have his skill 3 up, and they just can't deal with it. Now, looking at what they're drafting so far, I'm like, okay, let me just steal one of the openers away from them. So, because DDR and Knockwall is such a strong combo. Like, the things that would really counter DDR, it's really just cleave. Like, I think cleave is probably the biggest hindrance to DDR. It's just cleave. Like, DDR is so weak to cleave, but even in some cases you might get super lucky and still pull through. Like, because mine's on water origin, so like you can just randomly CR push up and cut in front of a cleave team or something like that, especially if he's like in the more 240 range, 240 range and stuff like that. So again, if you have a faster DDR, he could, you know, cut in front, sleep an entire cleave team, and then just like deal with that. They go with designer Lilibet, which I'm seeing a lot of more designer Lilibets. Now that DDR is like relevant, I guess, you are seeing there's a high influx of people picking designer Lilibet, but I don't think she's enough. Like, into DDR alone, yes, like if they don't have any other like opener or like a knockball to seal or like Aiden's or anything like that, they're like, yeah, designer Lilibet would be a good pick. And they picked Last Piece Karen here because to disencourage me from picking Aiden, right? Because I wasn't going to pick Aiden here. I was just going to slam Aiden, but of course they picked a unit that counters Aiden, and I was like, yikes. And now I had to pick something fast, right? I had to pick just a fast, speedier unit to essentially get focus off of DDR so that he gets his turn. And I go with Bihu, which probably wasn't ideal. I forgot that my Ran is built. Like, I have my Ron, like, he's built. Currently, like, I should have picked Ron there, and then just, like, speed contest the Lua. But, I forgot he was built. I'm not gonna lie. I skipped over him, and I picked Bihu as my other fast unit, which wasn't ideal. And I was kind of, like, hovering around banning either Zio or Lua, but then I was like, I don't think Zio matters at the end of the day, so I just banned... which it makes sense they ban Knockball because Bihu is not Bihu is not the best pick here, but I went ahead and put DDR in the back row just to prevent from any, I don't know, I guess any kind of debuffs for the most part. And they kind of have to focus Bihu, which was nice, right? It gave me, like, you know, that takeaway. Ron would have been better here though, but Bihu's faster than their entire team, so they like have to focus Bihu. Or else he just unbuffables the Moongala Lilius and push up everybody, and then she's like dead, right? The Last Piece Karen also ends up getting dead and stuff like that. Fine did not counterattack, unfortunately. I mean, if she did, the match would have been over there. But it's fine, it's fine. Because she does end up redeeming herself when she counterattacks here. No decrease attacks on the Moongala Lilius, which I always say Moongala, Midnight Gala Lilius. If I got a decrease attack there, the match would have been over again. But of course, it's fine, it's fine. We're still in it. I just go for the S2 here because, like, well, I technically think I could have went for the S3. I could have went for the S3, proc the, what is it? The designer Lilibet, and then S2, and then push the A Taiwan above designer Lilibet. I think I could have did that, but I just didn't. I just didn't think. I didn't think far enough. I wanted to make sure A Taiwan got his turn to do something, but the match is basically over. There's no way that this designer Lilibet and Zio is going to solo a DDR and not design. Yeah, designer Lilibet and Zio. Why did I question what I was saying? There's no way that they're going to solo these two units. They are just way too tanky. And I mean, I did get the sleep off, but it is what it is. It's over. But yeah, for the most part, DDR, just slam it at anything, right? If you have the right units to support him, you can just get away with anything. Picking this unit. As you see here, I am first picking him because I'm just like, I'm so confident at this point of drafting that I'm just like, yeah, bam, just slam him in there. I think Ocean Breeze Luca is a really good pick into DDR because not only does she cut in front of both of his, like, his S2 and his S3, like, he will like she'll cut in front. If she has a high enough ER, like he cannot debuff her without, like, there's no way you're gonna have your DDR with like 250 effectiveness. Like, it's just not gonna happen. This was just gonna need to debuff a Summer Luluka, like on average. Maybe even more than that, in which you would probably have to put him on Curse Compass or something to get that kind of stats. I just don't even think it's worth it at the end of the day. Anyway, I go ahead and pick Knockball and Aiden because looking at what they have going on, I don't know why they picked APOC Ravi. Like, I just don't think that was a good pick at all. But I pick another cleanser, so it is what it is, right? Because I have Knockball here to deal with, she can turn reset everybody. Unless that's an effect resistance, Mediator Calric, he's not really that good of a pick into a Knockball, to be completely honest. But yeah, and my Knockball also has very high effectiveness, because I just don't want to have to deal with, I don't want to have to be reliant on needing a Soul Burn to land my debuff. Like, obviously if I get 15%, I get 15% it, like, it's whatever. But I don't want to, like, rely on needing a mage to do what I need to do. And then we pick ML because he single-handedly counters, like, their entire team. Well, for the most part. I mean, yeah, he counters everybody. And I just need to pick another fast unit, another opener to make sure that I get the first turn. And things like that is either I use C. Lilius to push back Mediator, or I use... Ooh, excuse me, I'm yawning. Oh my gosh. Or I use Knockwall to turn reset everybody. Now, I don't know if they thought I was going to ban Lionheart Sarmia, which I'm just not. Like, I don't care about Lionheart. They end up banning the Conqueror Lilius, which didn't make sense to me. Like, I was like, I don't know about that. I think they should have banned Knockball and just deal with my Conqueror Lilius. Like, I know, like, she's, like, annoying to deal with, but it would have been better. Because here, we see Knockball do what she does best, which is bound everybody to not being able to do anything. And then we seal. I went ahead and checked and be sure everybody had their turn. Their S3s reset just to make sure, right? Because if Mediator Calric didn't get reset, it was GG. Like, we would have lost. Also, that APOC is she that fast? Like, this is a fast APOC. With not even that much HP, which is kind of weird. But maybe she was supposed to be built with ER or something. Like, I don't know. But that was a pretty speedy APOC, given the fact that she cut in front that far up. But yeah, the whole team's debuff, sleep. That's so satisfying to see, just the whole team of Sleep and Venom. We go ahead and focus the Mediator. Because as long as, and I almost killed him just with the Venom proccing and like all that kind of stuff, like he almost died. He does end up dying though because he crits my Knockwall, unfortunately, and he's dead. And now we're just smooth sailing, like everything is pretty fine and dandy.
I don't want to do this any more than you do.
And all that kind of stuff. We go ahead and focus the Lionheart, we get some dual attacks in. I don't think it may make that much of a difference getting that dual attack, but it's nice when you see it happen. Especially because she's sealed, so I don't have to worry about her being, you know, annoying and stuff. I didn't want to wake up APOC Ravi because if this APOC Ravi manages to hit my Aiden and like revive like the Mediator and then he cleanses the entire team, I lose. So we're just gonna not hit her. And now we're gonna try to control her here and ideally sleep her, but that doesn't happen. It's okay. So let's do some damage, right? She resists the Venom. What's new? What's new? We go for the Silence, which was so necessary, by the way. Because what you're gonna see here is The funniest thing out of this match is my Aiden not being able to invade. Like, what is that? Which, like, really sucks to see because, like, that kind of means that my Aiden would have 1000%. Right, if she had her S3 up, which she did have or the APOC did have her S3 up, if she S3'd, I would have just died. It could have brought back Lionheart, it could have brought back, you know, just literally anything that would have ruined my day. But they ended up throwing in the towel, which makes sense. You know, it is what it is.
You know who I am.
Oh, Lula's gone. Zia was also gone, which is like, yay, that's really nice. And they go ahead and pick, drumroll, Conqueror Lilius. Woo! So many people love that unit.
Excellent specimen.
And here I was like, going to pick Ocean Breeze, which I should have picked her. But I go with Dockwall because I was like, sure, why not? Because I was already in my mind. Like, there were certain units I didn't want to have to deal with. Like, I didn't want them to take Abyssal Euphine or something like that. Like, so I just went ahead and picked the Narkwall. I was like, I'm not dealing with it, right? And me picking her confidently gives off the illusion that she's really, really fast, which she isn't. But you know, they don't know that. Well, they'll know that in this match, but like they don't know that initially.
Is it my turn?
They pick AOL, which I don't think AOL matters. Only because, like, I can just soul burn, right? With Knockwall, I can just soul burn. And win that way. So, I was gonna pick ML Ken, and I was like, there's no reason to. And so I went with Spectre because that made the most sense. To get a Tagahel, some books. And here, I know I need to pick another fast unit, right? Like, I need to pick somebody who would take the first turn. And I should have picked Bihu here. Like, I think Bihu would actually unironically be a good pick here. Well, in theory, and you'll see what ends up happening, but in theory, Bihu would have been a good pick. And then through panicking and not knowing what to do, I end up trying to rush to pick Bihu, but I end up getting Politis, which, you know, isn't the worst. It's not the best. Not what I wanted, but Politis ends up being like very, very clutch in this match for reasons. Then they pick Ron, which, by the way, again, I talked about this earlier, but my Ron is geared now, and I need to like remember that. Like, I should have picked Ron because I could just ban the AOL, or I could just like deal with the, like, I just needed a unit to take the first turn. I should have just banned, or I should have just picked Ron. Another fast unit, another speedy unit that threatens turn 1, right? Like, that's what we want. So I picked Bihu because I don't know what else to pick, and I'm like, yikes. And then I'm thinking about it, and I was like, if I'm faster than the Briar Witch, I can just kill her, right? Like, I can just deal with it. I can just deal with her, you know what I mean? So I went ahead and banned the Abyssal DNA so I don't have any CR reduction reduce and things like that. Because like they can only control one of my units. If this is a full damage Rondo, I'm kind of dead. Right, like if he has enough damage to just one-shot my entire team, it's kind of over, but as long as he doesn't have that, I'm pretty safe. And this is where I get shocked, literally just blown away at how this match goes, because as you can see from my draft versus their draft, like they definitely have a higher chance of winning, right? It's like an 80-20%, right? I have like a 20% chance to pull through. And they have Tagahels on their AOL, so, which by the way, their AOL is faster than my Knockwall, which means that their AOL is like 285 speed, something like that. which, and I was gonna I was going to I was literally like I was gonna throw in the towel, but I remembered a match where I did surrender and I actually could have won. Um, so I decided not to. Now they don't use their skills, which I was so confused. I was like, why aren't you using your skills? Like, you should just use your skills here. Like, it makes the most sense, right? And they don't. They S3 here. I push up, right? I strip off the everything from the Briar Witch. Slow burn, I get the stun. DDR dual attacks, but it doesn't mean anything. And then the match is basically over. We literally won purely based on the fact that they didn't use their skills. They should have S2'd. They were really focused on trying to get rid of Darkwall, but like I couldn't do anything because your AOL was faster. For some mysterious reason, the AOL was faster. I don't know if they didn't check the CR bar to see that. Maybe they just assumed that the AOL was slower than the Darkwall or whatever, but they should have just used their skills. They should have used their immunity. They should have just did something. Because yeah. And now the match, they literally just like threw the match by not using their skills earlier. Because like Politis is not a Degen Politis. She's just a full damage Politis and things like that. I go ahead and get rid of the AOL because why not? Because I'm pretty sure I cut in front anyway. Yeah. With the CR pushback, I do cut in front. Water's Origin pushes me up, forward, and bam. Get to put him all to sleep. How nice. But yeah, SDDR, he's a lot of fun. I would highly recommend building him if you have him, and just like explore. Like, he's so much fun. But yeah, this will conclude this showcase. And a peace out.